Welcome to the Soviet Union, or frankly worse. I've been sitting here with the TV on all day Saturday, literally listening to this sycophantic shite on the BBC about the wonderful monarch, how everybody's wonderful. Why don't they just take cameras onto high streets all over the country and see the vast majority of people don't give two fucks about this. They go to all these stupid fuckers that have turned up to Balmoral or the Queen and present them as typical. Of course they're not typical. They're handfuls of people relative to the total population. They're creating an entire fucking fantasy construct which is just a piece of complete and utter propaganda. I actually have been someone who's paid my TV bill because I really can't be arsed with the fucking hassle of fighting them. Believe me, I'm just going to be calling for a refund as from Monday. I'm not paying for this propaganda shite on my television. No fucking way. Kirsty Wart, hang your head in fucking shame, the wonderful people of Scotland. What country does she fucking live on? Go to Glasgow, go to Sucky Hall Street, go to Argyle Street, go to Paisley High Street, go anywhere. Nobody's fucking interested. This is pish. This is propaganda. It's absolute fucking worst. Little Wayne's been interviewed about, what did the Queen mean to you? Hey, she's such a wonderful person. I mean, seriously, the Soviet Union couldn't do it as badly as this. It's a pile of utter shite. As from tomorrow, I've given it a wee bit of patience. I'm going into full fucking attack. This is complete and utter shite. Not a mention of the fact that the Queen will pay absolutely not a penny of death duties on her massive estate. She's one of the richest people in the world. Because she's head of state, she is exempt from paying any taxes on death duty. So poor old Charles, who's already fucking loaded, is going to inherit this huge estate and not pay a penny of tax on it, unlike anyone else in the world anywhere. Even the most tax averse countries in the world tax something. I mean, it's not even getting a mention. It's unbelievable piece of propaganda that we're not even hearing this, and this assumption that somehow or other, because Charlie popped out the fanny his mother 75 years ago, he's somehow or other entitled to rule the rest of us. What utter shit. No one has been asked about this, it's not been discussed, it's just assumed by the BBC. This is a piece of propaganda shite. I'm asking for a refund. We should say enough is enough. This is pish. This is propaganda. This is actually, it's disgusting what they're doing. People are saying I'm disgusting. What they're doing is disgusting. They are using the death of an elderly lady to shove unionist, monarchist propaganda 24/7 down our throats. They've called off football games, they've called off events. And here's the thing, England are playing cricket against South Africa today. This just shows the hypocrisy of the establishment. They've called off football games over Scotland, the ground it would be tasteless. But at Lords they're playing bloody cricket. And I like cricket, but that shows the hypocrisy of these people. Poor people have to put up with the inconvenience, but not them. The cricket must go on. England, a representative national game is taking place as we speak, whilst we are told we've got to shut up and do nothing. The hypocrisy of these people stinks. Look at them all. They're all getting paid overtime, they're all getting paid good money, and they are talking utter shite. It's got absolutely no relationship whatsoever with the real world. Just go out onto street, literally, the BBC, they've not taken a camera to just a high street where folk are out shopping, a park where folk are just out paddling in a pool, and they don't give a toss about it. The Queen's dead, sad movies, move on. It's no big deal. We don't need to know and we don't need to see these stupid fucking ceremonies. And literally I've seen the same item about 5 or 6 times. I mean, since when did repeating in peak time become an acceptable journalistic technique? Literally, they're shoving it down our throats. They're not letting us watch anything else. They're not putting anything else on. Because if they put anything else on, everybody will be watching it. Their viewing figures will go through the floor. They're literally forcing us to watch. And let's see their viewing figures, because I'm telling you, people have part way. There's a news value to this to a degree, and I'm not denying that. But people are going to very, very quickly turn off this. Their viewing figures are going to get through the floor. Because this is not 1953, this is 2022, we've moved on. BBC, move on. People stop paying for this pish, seriously. An antiquated idea that we're forced to pay for a TV channel that we're not even wanting to watch, that we'd never asked for. Now, I hate the propaganda of the Daily Mail, I hate the propaganda of Sky, I hate the propaganda. The difference between Sky, the Daily Mail, the Sun, all these people, is they're private companies. They kind of can do what they want within the regulatory framework. The BBC, we pay for. We pay for. The government doesn't pay a penny. We pay for it. So why should we have to listen to the shit? Scripted shit. In our ears, interviewing simple-minded people who literally would get laughed at their own pub if they come out with this pish. Hey, she means so much to me. I'm so moved. Get a fucking life. Kirsty Walk, you're a joke. A fucking joke standing outside Balmoral. The buses loads of people who are coming from all over Aberdeen. What, 7 or 8 buses for Aberdeen in a population of what, 1 million people? Why don't you speak to the 95% of people in Aberdeen who could not give 2 fucks about this? They're no Republicans. I'm not claiming they are. They just couldn't give a toss about it. They'd rather be watching the football. It's going to be remarkable to see the thousands of people turning up to pay honour to the Queen, says Kirsty. It's going to be a remarkable sight. Go to Parkhead. There's 60,000 folk at Parkhead paying 50, 60, 100 quid to see their team play Real Madrid. Rangers will be the same this week. There's nothing remarkable about saddos turning up at some fucking event that you're more or less dragooning them into going to. And you'll always find some saddos somewhere. They're tiny, the numbers, tiny. London's got a population of 15 million, so how many people are actually outside Buckingham Palace proportionately? Hee-haw! Hee-haw! Do you know what they're doing? They're in the shops, they're in pubs. They're pissed off that Match of the Day isn't on tonight because some fuckwit in the FA thought, hey, we better pay tribute to the Queen. Meanwhile, they're playing cricket. Meanwhile, they're playing rugby. Meanwhile, they're doing everything that suits them. Meanwhile, all these toffs are making money. Meanwhile, the Queen's still not paying any taxes, and Charles still not paying any taxes, and the leeches are still fucking leeching off us. Charles III. And they're not even discussing Charles III. It's a joke. It shouldn't be Charles anything. There's never been a Charles the First of Great Britain or the United Kingdom. There's never been a Charles II. It's been of England. There's not even a discussion of this. It's unbelievable. SNP. Rename yourself. Tomb Tabards, or certainly a lot of leadership is. Waking up, SNP. Nicola, gone native. Gone native. There was a big debate actually at the time when the Queen was crowned Elizabeth II. There was a big debate about that because again it was the exact same thing, namely there hadn't been an Elizabeth I of the United Kingdom or of Great Britain, because the first Elizabeth, the Queen of England and England only, when Scotland was an independent country. There's not even a debate now. Literally it's just assumed that he's Charles III. It's insulting. It's intellectually insulting because there's no such thing as Charles III of Great Britain, because there's no been a first or a second. Not a discussion, but we're being now talked about. Charles met Camilla in a little pub in East Sussex back in 19. What, you mean he had a fucking affair with his bidey in? We're getting told every detail of this as though it's some sort of romantic story of the century or some grubby fucking affair. And we're not even talking about the fact that he's not paying any taxes on his big wealthy inheritance that he's getting for the fucking Queen. The country's struggling. We're in the middle of a recession. We're talking about putting taxes up, putting bills up, paying for electricity. Here's how we pay for electricity. Tax the fuckers. It might not be a lot of money, but it's pay for a month of electricity for everybody through the winter if they just bloody tax them the same rate as everybody else. No, not a particularly, just the same rate as everybody else. The same rate as millionaires are. They pay duties. Why the hell should the royals be exempt? Why the hell should Charles, the king, be exempt, inherits a huge amount of money for his mother, and doesn't he pay any taxes on it? Why? And why has it not been discussed? Why are the BBC not mentioning it? Are they not allowed to? Literally, they are not allowed to. That's the reality. They're not allowed to mention it. Seriously, we live in the Soviet Union. Seriously, the Soviet Union wasn't as bad as this in terms of propaganda. There was an effective opposition in the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union eventually fell, and this place will too. See, if they try and put this on for the next 10 days, there'll be a revolution. Literally, we'll shut them down. Watch this space. This mince has to end. It's pish. Listen.
Come to pay my respect to longest serving monarch and wish her well, what she has done in terms of prayers
and we've got this on loop for 10 days, and we're paying for it.
Strange, isn't it? Because we've all grown up with the Queen, haven't we?
No, we've no. Most folk don't give a fuck about her. Over and out.